Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Tina from Tinaheals.com, and Mercury happens to be my ascendant lord, and my Mercury happens to be in the 12th house of self-sabotage and spirituality, and it is a very important part of me because I make my living by communication. So as Mercury is opposite Uranus in the skies, Mercury is retrograde at the fixed water sign, Mars ruled sign of Scorpio. And Uranus is in Venus ruled fixed earth sign of Taurus. And they are opposite each other. And there's a lot of intensity. It's like the mind splitting open with a spiritual awareness, spiritual epiphanies, the aha moment and all of that. So let us explore some of the significations from various valence. Mercury indicates education. So, primary education, of course, Jupiter rules higher education. Letters, disputation. So all kinds of property disputes, financial disputes, all of that is under the signification of Mercury. Reasoning. So logic, analysis, reasoning makes sense because Virgo's mantra is I analyze. Brotherhood. So a lot of brotherhoods like Freemasonry are predominantly Saturnine, but Mercury can hold a lot of importance in the concept of brotherhood because nothing can really be achieved if there is not open communication. Interpretation. So that's very important to understand. Not only is Mercury about cogitation, it is also about understanding and making sense of that thought that popped up. Embassies, number, accounts. So all mathematicians are actually ruled by Mercury. Accounts, all accountants are ruled by Mercury. Geometry, so architects are ruled by Mercury. Markets, so stockbrokers, traders, even crypto traders. Youth, the youth is ruled by Mercury. So, you see a lot of really wide things happening when Mercury is retrograde in terms of activating the energetic, disturbance within the youth. Games, theft. So I told you Mercury is also associated to theft as well as association. Communication, service, gain, discoveries, obedience. Yes, you can know if someone will be obedient or not by looking at their Mercury sign. Sport, wrestling, declamation, certification, supervision, weighing and measuring, the testing of coinage, hearing, versatility. That's why, people who have Gemini, midheavens, Mercury ruled are very versatile in their career and the legacy they leave behind. It is the bestower of forethought and intelligence, the lord of brothers and of younger children, and the creator of all marketing and banking. In its own character, it makes temple builders, modelers, sculptors, doctors, secretaries, legal advisors, orators, philosophers, architects, musicians, prophets, diviners, augurs, dream interpreters, braiders, weavers, systematic physician, those in charge of war and strategy, and those undertaking any unusual systematic work in accounting or with reasoning. Mercury makes weightlifters and mimes, those making their livelihood with the display of skill, deception, gambling, or sleight of hand. A lot of gamblers have Mercury in Leo. I had that placement too, but it's in my 12th house and I have never gambled ever in my life. I don't even know these card gambling games. It also rules those skilled interpreters of the heavens, astrologers, of course, those who by using pleasure or winning charm earn fame for their amazing feats, all for the sake of gain. So trickery, there's something that's very devious about the mercurial signature. That's why I think we tend to think of Geminis as very deceptive. And that's how Mercury operates through a yang air sign, mutable. And through Virgo, Mercury becomes feminine, earth, And interestingly, Mercury is the only planet which is exalted in a sign he rules. He is domicile ruler as well as exalted in 15 degrees of Virgo, conjunct the fixed stars Windemiatrix and Purima. Okay, so it's very interesting, Purina. So, the stars' effects go in many directions depending on the changes of the zodiac, and the interactions of the stars yields quite varied results. Knowledge for some, selling for others, service for others, trade or teaching for others, farming and temple service, or public employment for still others. To some it grants authority, rentals, labor contracting, rhythmical performance, the display of public service, the acquisition of personal attendance, or the right of wearing temple linen, robed in the luxury appropriate to gods or rulers. As for the end result, Mercury will make everything capricious in outcome and quite disturbed. So Mercury has planetary joy in the first house. I explained this to you before, the concept of planetary joys. Even more, it causes those having the star in malefic signs or degrees to become even worse. Of the parts of the body, it rules the hands, the shoulders, the fingers, the joints, the belly, the sense of hearing, the arteries, the intestines, the tongue. Of materials, it rules copper and all coins used in buying and selling. For the god makes exchanges. It is blue in color, sharp in taste. So that was something about Mercury as described by Valence, and this Mercury ruling the hands, the arms is so interesting, because the main nakshatra that rules Virgo is the Hasta nakshatra. We start the counting of the nakshatras from Hasta, actually. So it's so interesting when you think about the Hellenistic concept of planetary joy and how the moon makes the third house, how the moon has planetary joy in the third house. So here the moon makes the third house more feeling and intuition based. And Mercury brings this more discerning, more rational approach to the moon's empathic nature. So I think that is such an interesting understanding when you think of the Hasta Nakshatra, and you think of Mercury the moon having planetary joy in the third house, and Mercury's energetic vibe, that is so interesting. So Mercury is opposite Uranus, and this is so very prophetic, because we have all kinds of things happening right now in the world. We are at crossroads. So very, very interestingly, it is also the second day of the Navaratri. Very, very powerful time to invoke the goddess, to work with the goddess energy within. I'm going to be posting some guided meditations, some stuff for you, some ASMR based guided meditations for you to really tune in to yourself deep within. And I send you much love, because remember this opposition between these two planets, Mercury and Uranus. And Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So that's just so prophetic, and so very, very interesting, because we are about we've already created a grand cardinal cross up in the skies, okay? And today we've got the sun squaring Mars, a sun opposite the Mars in Aries. Okay, and of course all the Capricornian planets are being squared, and there's all kinds of activity happening in the cardinal signs. So that is so interesting, because we've just had the moon in Cancer. So the moon was squaring the sun and opposing the Capricornian stellium. So this has been so interesting because coronavirus popped up with that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And I believe this is going to be a culmination, and that will take place at about 21st of December, when these two heavyweights go conjunct in 0 degrees of Aquarius. So yes, it's so prophetic, it's so interesting, the stuff up in the heavens and what is being served out to us. So Mars has already reached his midpoint, and the retrogradation is already, and now Mars is going to go direct in November. So that was very interesting. And Mars at the very midpoint opposed the Sun. The Mars was in rulership in cardinal fire sign of Aries, but the Sun, who was exalted in Aries, was in detriment in the Venus ruled sign of Libra. Okay, Libra is moist and wet. The Sun isn't. The Sun is dry. So it's been quite intense this week up in the skies, up in the heavens, and there's a lot more to go this year. We are not finished. Of course, we've got tons coming up for 2021, 2022, but that was it for now. We'll get back with more ponderings and musings on my ascendant ruler, Mercury. Thank you so much. Speak soon.